Hi everyone, Olive here. Welcome to my May TBR! In case you could not tell from my thumbnail, I was having a little bit of difficulty balancing all the books I want to read this month. First up is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is our very next book club book. I actually first heard of Northanger Abbey, or saw Northanger Abbey, at the back of my grade 10 classroom. I have no idea why I remember this so specifically, but I do. And I remember reading the back and thinking, hey, this sounds absolutely fantastic. Northanger Abbey is seen as Jane Austen. I can't pronounce anything today. Northanger Abbey is seen as Jane Austen's Gothic parody, so basically making fun of books at the time. When reading books of this time period, it is fairly evident that they are quite dramatic, and that is why I love them so much. So a book like this, which is making fun of that, plus it's written by Jane Austen, just has excitement for me written all over it. I don't know too much about the actual plot at this point, but I'm assuming it likely involves a young girl, a dashing young man, some sort of intense family drama, love triangles, all that kind of stuff. We will see how correct I am. Next up is Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. Prior to seeing the movie trailer, I did not know that this book existed. I had no idea there was a group of African American women who had such a major part to play in the space race. And my first thought was, why do we not know about these three women? I think the answer is both sad and obvious. I have purposely not seen this movie before reading the book. I am a staunch believer in the fact that you should read books before you see the movies. However, the movie trailer looked excellent, and I really want to see the movie, so I absolutely need to get on top of reading this book. I don't know too many details about the plot, besides the fact that three African American women played such a major part in the American space race. I know that it starts in the World War II era, and goes into the Cold War, but otherwise I really can't wait to read about these three amazing women and hopefully educate you guys about these three amazing women and what a role they had to play in aeronautics. Also on my list for May is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Now, I have not read Gone Girl, although I really want to, but the reason why I haven't is because I saw the movie before reading the book, and that is because I don't generally read thrillers as a rule, so I didn't have an issue watching the movie before reading the book. However, I love the movie, and will eventually read that book, but I thought I should definitely give another Gillian Flynn novel a try. This movie is on Netflix in Canada right now, so I really want to fly through this book so I can watch the movie, because you never know when they are going to take away your movie and TV watching plans. I also have no idea what the actual plot in this book is about, but I'm sure it will be mysterious, dark, and twisted if Gone Girl is anything to go by, and I look forward to that. That sounds really awful of me to say. Next is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I have grown up seeing this book on my dad's bookshelf my entire life, and I've never considered actually reading it. It seemed to be one of those things that I was just used to always seeing, and then when I was going through my parents' bookshelf, I thought, hey, now is the time. Having absolutely no idea what this is about also, I read the back, and all it says is, Master Sun said, "Ultimate excellence lies not in winning every battle, but in defeating the enemy without ever fighting." And if that doesn't get you hooked, I don't know what will. Perhaps I've never wanted to read this book before because I thought, hey, The Art of War doesn't really seem applicable nowadays. I think this actually will be a great metaphor to everyday life, and I think that's actually perhaps the point of this book. But especially being a young adult and going through a lot of life changes, I think this book actually will be really applicable to my life, and I can't wait to read and see what it has in store for me. 3 Cups of Tea by Greg Mortensen and David Oliver Rellin is a book that was recommended to me a few years ago now, and I've always meant to read it, but have just never really gotten around to reading it. But it's really fantastic sounding. It's basically about Greg Mortensen himself going into Pakistan and wanting to build schools. So it started out with his dream to build one school, especially for girls, and then I believe it turned into him building 55 schools. And this is really important as well because of the Taliban and this area. They really, especially in terms of girls, do not want girls to be educated. There's not a particular motivation to educate young people in this part of the world because of obvious violence going on right now, but particularly girls. So I really want to read this book and read what Greg Mortensen has to say about his journey. Now, the last 2 books on my TBR list for May are rereads for me, so I really want to start rereading a lot of my books. I have so many books I'm very blessed to have, and I want to appreciate them to the fullest extent. So my 2 books that I'm rereading this month, I have reread multiple times, but hey, I need to reread them again. Last month, if you saw my April wrap-up video, you know that I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And this month, in keeping with the theme, next up is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I don't know why I keep doing that today. So, City of Ashes is the second installment in the Shadowhunter series. This second book really gives readers a chance to delve farther into the Shadowhunter world and the Downworld. A lot more crazy stuff goes on with Valentine, who is the big bad guy in here. Don't want to say too much else, but if you're on BookTube, I'm assuming you probably have read this book at some point. If not, like I said in my other videos, if you have not read a Cassandra Clare book, you need to read her books. So please do so. I will let you know how my reread goes in my May wrap-up. The second book that I am rereading this month is Chamber of Secrets by Harry Potter. What? Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. In case you're unaware, Rose is actually reading the Harry Potter series for the very first time. I'm so excited. I got Feather into reading Harry Potter a year ago now, I believe, and she's super into it. And it was then my goal to persuade Rose to get into it as well. And so with a little nudge here and a little nudge there from both Feather and I, Rose is finally reading Harry Potter. I'm so excited about that. So anyways, I thought, hey, I can't be a hypocrite. I also have to read some Harry Potter. So I actually finished reading Philosopher's Stone in February because I decided at that point I wanted to do a reread of all of J.K. Rowling's books. And so I meant to read this earlier in March, didn't happen. So here I am in May, going to try and finish reading all the Harry Potter books by the end of the year again. Thank you so much for watching my May TBR. I am super stoked to read these books. In case you missed it, yesterday we posted a book club book review of The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, so make sure to check out the 3 of our videos about The Nightingale. I will see you again next week on Thursday. Make sure to stay tuned for Feather's video on Saturday and for Rose's video on Monday. Happy reading!